he went to his brother-in-law's house, who's like 3 hours away from where he lives. This is what he's claiming. And then they went over to his brother-in-law's buddy's house. And so John was watching the election with them. Now, the problem here is that these guys were watching Fox News. So you can understand what that means. They might not be on the same side as John as they're watching this election coverage. And it wasn't going the way John wanted it to. So apparently he was getting pretty fired up about that.
And Vince, you would have Vince, I was sandwiched between two financial guys and watching the election results. I literally almost stood up and punched my brother-in-law in the fucking face.
So that's where you were?
Yeah. And
That's bullshit. He never punched anybody. Threatens, yes. Of course, he was in the bathroom. He always is, because he's a shithead.
I was so fucking pissed. I thought he was saying something about me. It wasn't. He was saying something about the election.
What did he say?
I can't remember. I was in the bathroom and I came out and I thought he was saying something about me and I went.
How come you can't remember? I thought you had a photographic memory, 165 IQ. Can't mess with this, remember? Jesus Christ.
Up to him with every intention of fucking punching him in the face.
No, you didn't. You never punched anybody. You're a liar and a coward. Call the police, maybe. Call your mom, maybe. Why is it everywhere you go you gotta shit in the bathroom, not wash your hands? The whole story about underwear to guide, that's because Howard and everybody made fun of you for never washing your hands. So like usual, you made up a story to cover. Typical.
Brother-in-law's house?
No, it wasn't at his house. It was at his friend's house.
What a great house guest you are.
So this is why I'm fascinated by this. I love a peek into the real Stuttering John Melendez. Not performative John, not this is what I want people to goof on John. This is him being honest with something that actually happened. He's wasted. Mm-hmm. He doesn't remember what was said.
Allegedly.
He's all upset because what's going on with the election. He gets out of the bathroom and he's ready to punch his brother-in-law, who's his best friend. He talks about his brother-in-law glowingly all the time. Brother-in-law does a lot of stuff for him.
What did he hear that?
This could be another fantasy to show how tough he is.
Cut him off. Loser retard.
This is my guess, and I have no idea. I'm just speculating based on what I just heard from John. Is that he was talking shit about John and what an idiot he is. And Jack is always like, "You talking about me?" He's like, no. We were just talking about the guy on the TV. Because they probably were looking at each other like, is this guy for fucking real? Does he know anything about politics? They're probably goofing on him when he went up to use the bathroom.
I just drank all my booze.
Isn't it weird, like liberals, when it's not swinging their way, their first reaction?
He was freaking out. Once they settled this, he was on cloud nine. I don't know if you guys remember this, but once they settled the lawsuit, all the stress was gone. I don't owe anyone money. This is great. And now he doesn't want to pay the money that he was all excited about. I only have to pay this much money. He was bragging about how little money he had to pay Vince. And now he can't even afford that. And he won't pay him.
In installments.
Right. As a payment plan.
Yeah.
That they explained as a six-month payment plan. And he hasn't paid one yet. It was supposed to be October. He didn't pay October. Now he's got November. He hasn't paid November. He's trying to weasel his way out of it. And so he has an excuse on why he can't pay him, which, again, proves that John is poor, which we all knew, which I'm not saying is like, wow, can you believe it? It's just amazing that John's finally admitting that.
This is why I'm going to tell you why.
So it doesn't matter what you bought it for. It's not a game. You owe money to Vince and he wants his money. So this is crazy. Again, real John came out on this episode. Because how many times does he call, he goes, Carl, just do it. And he does that affect. And everyone goes, you're calling Carl gay. And he goes, no. I'm not calling him gay. I'm just saying that's how he says that. It has nothing to do with gay. It's just saying that's how he says, just do it.
Sure.
He said this many, many times. Well, it finally comes out. He's calling me gay.
Oh, get this, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, the Duke had an espresso martini last night. Just do it.
You did?
the Duke had an espresso martini last night just to do it. Because remember, when Kate Meany's boyfriend had an espresso martini, he called him a fat. Those are John's words, not mine. He said the guy was a. So he equates espresso martinis with being gay, and he just said I had an espresso martini, just do it. Therefore, Carl is gay.
And look how pleased he is with himself.
I know, he's so stupid. Hey, guess what? I had that thing that I called gay. Cool. And then Honest John, because now he's talking to a guy he owes money to, tells another truth.
Yeah, and these guys got me, Vince. I didn't buy a boat. I was on my friend's boat.
You're such an asshole. So you lied to me about that too?
Yeah, I was just fucking around. You know, I mean, I can't afford a boat.
I mean,
He's
no
being
one
real.
was fooled.
He's being real though. Like, I mean, he is the type that would be like, "Hey, here's my boat," and then, you know, I sold it, or I
Right.
got you guys. You know,
Yep.
you're the idiots for believing it.
No, I know, right? Because there's nothing in it for him here. He just literally can't pay back Vince, and he's looking for Vince to have some sympathy and go, "Yeah, I get it."
And that boat was no more than $8,000 at maximum. It's an old boat with a replacement engine in bad condition. Can't afford $8,000. And also, go back to the gay thing. Just the other day, now this is months later, he's on TikTok. And he goes, "Well, I know a guy that's gay, Lady K." He said it loud and clear to one of his TikToker cameo. He was called the guy gay, and he said, "Not that there's anything wrong with that. I know some gay people. Lady K is a guy I know." And so now he's, he can't keep track of his own lies.
Man, I got tons of money. I don't need your $2,000 or whatever it is. And Vince, to his credit, is not budging on this because it is the better bit to watch him squirm. But it's crazy that John was on this boat, bragging about it, giving us the tour of the boat.
And it all could be lies just because he doesn't want to pay Vince. He doesn't pay any of his debts. IRS $95,000, another IRS $23,000, his ex-wife $23,000 in payments. What else is there? The car that he just bought, a brand new car that he just bought for his kid, is used, and he's making payments. He stopped making the payments on that and the insurance, and probably the apartment he left in the basement in Canoga Park. He probably owes a lot of money there too. He snuck out, dumped all his furniture on the sidewalk, and took off.
Everyone thought it was not his boat. He didn't fool anyone. And then he comes out and he goes, "I know, I didn't even buy a boat. Gotcha." So there is a theory that because the house is in Osa's name and she owns it, that she's also paying bills and she's controlling the thermostat.
Oh.
Now, I've heard about this before. Forget who was talking about this, but like with Airbnbs. Oh, I think it was Rocco was talking about, I stayed at this Airbnb and it was in Georgia. And so he was setting the thermostat down to
yeah.
72
I
or
remember
70.
him telling us this.
And then it would go back up to 80 or 78. And he's just like, what the fuck? So he finally reached out to the owner, like, "Oh, yeah, you can't mess with the thermostat. It's an extra $50 for every degree lower you want it." He's like, what? It's
God.
crazy. It is expensive. I can tell you, even when I'm not at my house in Florida, the bills are high to, keep it, whatever, relatively cool. And so I don't know that John has control over his own thermostat because this sounds crazy.
This is amazing. I'm still sweating. I had the temperature on at 80 because I don't know. I guess I get cold at night. I don't know why.
I had the temperature on at 80 because, I don't know, I think I get cold at night. I don't know why. Huh?
My parents keep their thermostat at 75 because they're 80.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
But I do. And then when I got home from the gym, got out of the shower, I was sweating like a goddamn pig.
Yeah, it's a sauna.
So anyway, I mean, I'm fucking hot as fuck in here. So bear with me for a second here.
Then turn it down. Why
It's
wouldn't you
not
turn
night
it down?
anymore, right? You're not
Right.
cold. It's not night.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. 80 degrees in a house is crazy. That is so uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's
What is he
bad.
doing?
And wouldn't he be hotter just after the gym when he walked in, as opposed to after the shower?
He always sweats when he gets out of the shower. It's so weird. I don't know what that is. Maybe Dr. Steve knows what that is. It's crazy. He's so greasy and gross. Troy Smith says he looks like the Nixon mask in Point Break. He kind of does. Yeah. That's funny. It's a good observation. All right, so now we're going to bring Clay Dabbler in. It's Clay Day on Fridays. And Clay Dabbler comes in to discuss the boat work that John did, where he pretended he had a boat, then he admitted he didn't have a boat, and that was some gag.
So the best, Clay, is this whole.
That's a timeshare. That's not ownership of a house. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, either way, John, as long as the bank was aware and your mom's aware and she's not breaking any of the terms, you should be okay.
Yeah, I know. No, but I'm saying Pinky doesn't even understand that it's possible to do it that way.
And again, can you just relay the message? He said he's going to sue me for defamation because I called him an Irish drunk gambler. I had no idea if he was Irish or not, so I apologize.
Okay. So you just heard Vince say Kevin Brennan's going to sue me for calling him an Irish drunk gambler. And the joke is, I didn't know he was Irish.
Yeah.
Now, will John get the joke?
Probably not.
Definitely not. He's a fucking moron.
Well, it doesn't matter. I think Brennan is an Irish name, and I repeated it. Yes, I
Even Clay Dabbler doesn't fucking sit there and be like, John, that was a joke, you idiots. How are you not picking up on this? Vince is so much smarter than John. He's treating him like he treats High Pitch Eric. John's a whack packer. He's nothing more than a whack packer.
And John agrees with everything that Vince just said on the phone. Then why'd you call Vince?
Oh,
Just to say this guy's being a jerk to me?
well, no, he wanted Vince to be like, yeah, of course that's the rules. Of course you
Well,
could do that.
yeah.
And Vince was like, I don't know. Is that the agreement you guys had? I'm not sure. What do you mean a week? Who said that?
Right.
Could you imagine that?
Of all the whack packers, he was the stupidest.
What was the mortgage agreement?
Not for you.
But it's funny that Clay's calling this a work. Like, oh, it's a double work. And John's like, no, it's not a work. Because John's a pathological liar. He just lies all the time. He's like, no, a work would involve like multiple people involved in it to get one over on someone,
Yeah, with a
have
big
a payoff.
yes.
Right. That's like what a work would be. John's just a guy who just lies all day long every day. He's like, no, Clay, it's not a work. I'm just lying. Like, that's what I do. Like, okay, cool. Good stuff. And all right, let's get back to paying Vince. Because now he's going to talk to Clay about this after that Wednesday episode that everybody saw where he's groveling. He's going to lie about what happened.
I see you managed to swerve Vince's payment again this month.
yes, he managed to. It's so funny because I talked to Vince this morning, and I'm like, you told me you'd waive November. Don't you remember? I told you about my account.
He didn't say he'd waive it. He said he would delay it. He would allow you time. He's not waiving it. He never said he's going to waive it. He said he would defer it. You're a liar.
And he goes, all right. We'll talk.
That's not what happened.
No, we just saw what happened.
No, he said he'd push it back.
And that was a maybe.
And maybe. He did not say he would waive.
He said he might defer it. We'll talk about it, but that was it.
November. And now John's changed it into, no, you said you would waive November.
He goes, all right. We'll talk about it on Monday. I go, but no, you gave me your word. You would reduce it to 5. I said 5 and.
He didn't give his word. He didn't reduce anything. You're a liar. And maybe you're delusional, but I just think you're a liar.
Instead of 6, 5
Nope.
payments does.
That did not happen.
So he did say it, right, Clay?
Yeah, he did.
He did. So
Clay's body language, he went, yeah, he did.
Yeah, sure,
He's
why
even
not?
shaking his head no while he says it. Watch this. This is Clay's just like, yeah, whatever you
Yeah.
say, boss.
he did say it, right, Clay?
Yeah, he did.
He did. So I'm gonna keep.
It's up a little pick me up right now after watching those clips, and that is that Mary Beth Rosie is here.
Hey.
Oh, yeah. Look at this.
What's up, Mary Beth? Oh, do I have to unmute you, or are you gonna unmute you?
I I can talk now.
I apologize, Carl.
I was going to say, Brian probably is the one who puts her on mute. It's like, no,
There
this is
will be
perfect.
consequences.
This is the right
I thought
setting.
you were gonna bring Cardiff on. Like,
It was whatever was put in there was the truth.
Hey, Brennan.
What did John say next? Here are your choices.
I'm due.
Number 1, I got signed to Atlantic Records. B, I slept over at Howard's house. Did you? Next, I have 2 pensions. 4, I interviewed 2 Beatles. And lastly, I've done more than you to poke a dabbler.
This is a tough one. So they're just talking about the album release, and I'm going to go, lastly, I've done more than you, and I know it's wrong, and I'm already mad at myself. What do you think, Brian?
Since he's been talking about money so much, I'm going to go next. I think he's going to brag about his 2 pensions and he has more money than KB does.
Okay, I like that. What do you think, Mary Beth?
I think he signed to Atlantic Records.
Okay, you're
Because
going
he was
number
talking
1.
about the Rolling Stones. So.
Yep. And producer Chris?
I also went with 1, Atlantic Records.
All right, the chat has a lot of ones, a lot of lastlies. There's a next. Let's see.
Whatever was put in there was the truth.
Hey, Brennan. Brennan, I interviewed 2 Beatles.
What?
Have you?
Oh my God, that's what he came up with? I even read 2 Beatles? I never would have gotten that. Damn you, potato.
He's good.
Don't
Cardiff.
think so. I interviewed Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney, you dumb fuck.
Is Kevin Brennan a journalist who interviews people for a living? Like, that doesn't even make
Does he
fucking
love the
sense.
Beatles?
Yeah, he's not a music reporter. What the fuck kind of brag is that?
Did you do the Chris Farley bit? Do you remember when you did? That was awesome. You know the SNL bit.
I don't
You did it with Paul McCartney.
You don't know that, John?
Why are you trashing me? Thanks for the $2. Why didn't you answer Rocco's question to your face at AC? It wasn't a question. He was being insulting and homophobic. And as soon as he turned the fucking camera off, I said, let's go outside, you fucking loser.
How is that homophobic?
How is it homophobic? Yeah, I was wondering the same thing.
Son with a vagina. And it is a question. Has he ever queefed in your face? We all want to know.
I know.
It's an easy yes or no answer. A liar.
And he refused.
Has your son ever queefed in your face?
I'm appalled by your bold.
That's funny. Because asking, that wasn't a question that Rocco asked him. But him asking Ringo Starr a joke question that was written for him is an interview.
An interview. I know. I was thinking the same thing. If you were interviewed, these things like, what'd you do with the money is not an interview.
No.
It's like how he interviewed O.J. Simpson. When he's like, no, I interviewed O.J. Simpson and asked him if he could sign my knife. Like, he wasn't he wasn't even looking at you. He couldn't even hear you. He said his limo.
The trunk of the car couldn't hear you.
Yeah, you were
You yelled at a moving car with the doors locked and the windows closed.
interviewing anyone. You were talking in a car.